Do not disturb all of that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm just going to check that we are live and everything's working. If you can hear me, please do stick a hello or loud and clear in the comments so I can see that I'm coming loud and clear to everyone. There we go. It looks like we are streaming. People are finding us. That is all good. Just tag Jason in here so he can find us. Brilliant. Yes, live. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, then, ladies and gentlemen, let me just get rid of this so that doesn't slow us down. Now I've tested it all. I know what we're up to. Right. Okay, glad to be here for the live. So this is the benefit of our little setup here. So we can say, yes, live, fantastic. Glad to be here for live for the first time. You are most welcome. So, okay, let's get straight into this because there is absolutely tons to do. Hello as well to you. If you're coming up as a Facebook user, it's because of your sharing settings don't allow StreamYard to see who you are, which is absolutely fine. That's your privacy settings set. But I'll just have to refer to you as Facebook users for now, but that's fine. So, yeah, overall, it's been a busy day, shall we say. Hello, Lorna, and hi, Sue. Yeah, very, very busy day in the end. It was meant to be a quiet week, and Peter, our lead tech guy, has completely and utterly destroyed my peaceful week. We knew there was going to be some updates because I'd asked him to have a look at a few bits. Andy wanted him to do a little few bits with the checklists, and I asked him to have a look at the client info screen. So Peter, being Peter, sent us a couple of videos today and saying, I've done this and I've done this. And we were like, great, that's the 3 updates we wanted. And then after I've updated you guys on 2 of those updates, there was another video. And then there was a one more thing moment. Peter's really taken to these one more thing moments that Tim Cook does at Apple. And he dropped the bombshell that was placeholders have been invigorated with a lot more power, shall we say. So yeah, I'm going to go through all of the updates tonight with you, show you what they all do. As always, ask questions as we go, guys. It's not a problem. There's normally about a 30-second delay between me talking and you getting it. So I might have to go back to things, but again, absolutely no problems whatsoever with that. But yeah, so I'll go through all the updates and then I will spend some time looking at onboarding and what I've been doing in my firm to give you a bit of inspiration with that. And then, as always, question and answers until you run out of questions. So yeah, lovely to see everyone saying hello, Heather. It makes this session so much more enjoyable for me when I've got people commenting and saying that things are there, and I'm not sat there thinking maybe I'm the only one here at 7:30 on a Wednesday night. But yeah, right. Let me share my screen with you all. Okay. And hello, Paul. Good to see you. So first, let's go through the first few updates, shall we? So originally, up until, well, when this release comes out to you guys over the weekend, if you wanted to see like what these drill down areas were, like tasks, etc., you had a choice of which one you wanted to look at. So I might want to see the 4 that are coming up here, and that would show me the 4. But then you had no way of looking at all of these in one go without going to deadlines and filtering it all for yourself. Well, I am pleased to say that Peter has changed this. So you can now click on the name of the widget. So here we're going to click on tasks. As you'll notice, when you hover over it, it now has a underline over it when I'm hovering. I can click on tasks and it shows me all the information in that widget. So if I go to all services, again, it's showing me all the information in that widget. For anyone that didn't see the post last week, I've created an all services widget in my firm, and we've put in the demo account and a few other places. To do that, all you need to do is go to settings, service groups. You add a group and you call it all services. And then you tick all the different services that you've got that you want involved in that widget. And that will then create this widget, and the widget will appear at the bottom here, and you can just drag that up and put it wherever you want to have it. So yeah, really, really good little widget, that one to have, the all service widget. If you're looking at the whole picture, you want to see how you're doing as a company. Traumatizing sometimes when I look at it in my firm, but never mind. We need to just keep on top of our overdue tasks. But yeah, so that's our first little update. I've had to write notes down. There's that many of these things to go through this time. So let me just cross that off. I've told you about widget links. So now hover over any of these, line appears, and you can click on it, and it will take you through to the drill down for all of it. Really nice and easy. Okay, next update is in Kanban. And we've now got, under card layout, we've got this one called relationships. So I'll turn that on. This isn't your client's relationship status, your relationship with your client, or their Facebook relationship status. What this is to show you when you come across things, people's names, you think, who is that? So I do this all the time for self-assessments. So if I go to my self-assessment list for a really good example here, and I'll go along, is that Molly Baker? Who on earth is Molly Baker? So now, because I've got the relationship thing on, I can see, oh, she's part of Coffee and Cake Limited. So I can get that context straight away without having to search her or go into clients and stuff. And if I want to go and have a look at the more detail about that relationship, I can go in and have a look here. And that takes us very smoothly. That was a fantastic segue. People get paid for that. So Molly Baker is part of Coffee and Cake Limited. And what you're seeing now is the new layout for our client info page. So we took on board the feedback that it was all a bit bitty and all over the place and quite overwhelming in places. So what we've now got is we've got our general info section with date of incorporation, the registered date and trading address all come down along here. Then we've got our total fees and current value from QuickBooks still here. So you've got all this key information. Then you've got services. And what we've done is we've made these boxes a bit smaller, but you can still drop down and you've still got all your checklists in here and all this other information that you've always had. But now you can just collapse that to make it a bit easier to see. You've still got all your inactive services down here. And then you've got your annual fees along here. And again, it's all collapsible if you need it to be. So it just takes up less screen space. Again, related individuals, got all the information here. Related businesses would all be listed along here as well. And then all your terms, external IDs, manual AML checks, and your custom fields are all here. So hopefully everyone will agree this is a much cleaner look, shall we say, for the overall client info page. So before I move on to any more, I am just going to quickly go through the comments, make sure I've not missed anything. I'm here sitting on my sun terrace sipping Chardonnay. That is the way to do it. If you're going to have to listen to me go on in the evening, that is the way to do it with alcohol. Hello. Brilliant. Someone asked for that for one of these updates today. Well, there you go. That's just pace, isn't it? Someone's loving the updates. Widget is such a funny word. It is, Kath. It's a very odd word, and people keep using it in different contexts, and it confuses me at times. Can the dashboard be filtered by users? No, not at the moment. So the dashboard, your work bit is your work bit. That's related to you as a user. All the other widgets are company-wide. So that's the extent of the filters for that at the moment, Paul. Yeah, someone's just said each dashboard is personal to each user. So yeah, so whilst all these widgets are showing the tasks for everyone in the business, the dashboard can be modeled and hiding stuff and showing stuff personalized by the user. So that helps. Lorna, you've got either a bad internet or I'm struggling. Someone said it's a bad internet because I'm okay. That's fine then. Paul, you're happy to see collapsible sections. Good, good. I think Andy was pushing for that. So I was doing a revamp of the client info page on Monday, well, over the weekend and into Monday. But Andy was quite keen that we had the reduced space and collapsible sections. So that's what we've done. Someone sat watching in their hot tub. That, I don't even know where to start with that. Someone's listening on their phone whilst doing kids stuff. How do I show my name and mugshot? I want to frighten everyone with my face. I think there's something in the settings. Oh yeah, Kath's just put it on here. So if you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, it will then ask you to authorize it to show you your details, basically. Brilliant. Okay, so that is our Kanban relationships status. That's our widget links, and that's the client info page all updated. But we've still got more to go. So don't you hate it when you go onto a task and onto your checklists, and you've got like 1% left to do, and you can't see what that 1% is easily? Like you've obviously you've not ticked something. So I'm pleased to say you've now got red arrows to indicate what needs doing still. So as you click if I can click in the box, the tasks, each checkbox list, the arrows disappear. And if you've got a box that is only for typing in and you've not got any of the yes, no, or not applicable turned on, the arrow won't go away until you've typed into it. Now, this is a poor example because this is asking for a dot. But yeah, so you've got the ability to now, if you untick something, the red arrow comes back. So it just makes life a bit easier to see what needs doing as you go through the checklist. So that is checklist update done. Okay, this was done through popular demand and all the topics that were discussed in this group. So this is the benefit of you guys asking questions in the Facebook group. The tech guys and Peter are in the group. They're seeing the feedback and they're actioning things without us even asking them to. So what we can do now is if I go into my client engager, I go to my letter of engagement. So you can see this is the letter of engagement. Now, last week I showed you could go, if you wanted to change the name of this document, you can do that down here. So we can go proposal, letter of engagement. We can save that. I can go back to my client now. I could regenerate the letter of engagement. And that's there now. But we were looking through the feedback and Peter's gone, well, people kind of want a bit more customization on a more frequent basis. So what he's now done is when you click on the arrow down and customize, document title is now here. So now I can go repricing, letter of engagement, that regenerates. And now I've got my repricing letter of engagement. And that's it as a one-off. Just like whenever you do any of the other one-off adjustments on this, you can now adjust the title as a one-off. So hopefully that helps solve several people's queries on how they can change the title on the letter of engagement on a case-by-case scenario rather than all in one go. So that is the renaming of the letter of engagement. I'm now going to go through the comments one more time before I go on to what's probably the biggest and most anticipated update that no one knew we were doing, including myself and Andy. Looks like Rachel has managed to got her access done. Well done, Rachel. Someone is feeding their child spag bowl after a busy day of webinars, including ours. Oh, mine. Oh, yeah. I did a live stream with a gentleman called Ashley Leeds. He's absolutely fantastic at mastering LinkedIn, and he does a webinar every Wednesday lunchtime at 12:30 on LinkedIn as with a live guest who's in the accounting and bookkeeping space. So definitely worth following his stuff. He's really, really energetic. So much enthusiasm. It's incredible. Calf's having chicken fajitas. Don't tell my wife, they are her favorite. One user likes that feature. That's one of the features, because she has a guilty habit of not telling Center that she's done things. Well, yep, definitely does. You need to keep the software informed so it knows what you're doing. Okay, Rachel, where do I go to see all my checklists that need dealing with? So the easiest way to view all your checklists, Rachel, is actually deadlines, all types. So if I show all my tasks on here, you see all these circles with numbers in green bits. They're your checklists and what progress you're making on them. And the way you get that there is that you go to featured item and you select checklists for that. And that's what puts it there. You can also have the checklist here. As if you don't want the featured item, maybe it's more important to have the featured item as a staff member's name. You've also got this icon here and 21%, and that's your checklist progress as well. And that's just a tick box there. So you might untick that one, and you might have checklist percentages here, so you can see progress on each checklist. So hopefully that helps, and it does. You're more than welcome, Rachel. That is what we're here for on a live session. Paul says, Pete does a fantastic job. Solved my issues so quickly last week. He does. Yeah, it's incredible how easy he can troubleshoot things without even looking at things. He managed to fix someone's problem completely blind the other day without even logging in and looking at reports. He just knew what the issue was. And it was a really peculiar issue that was just linked to someone's web browser of choice. And yeah, he put a fix out and it fixed it. No problems at all. Very clever man. Okay, so let's get back to the update list then, as we've gone through all the comments. The final update that Peter released as a one more thing to us this evening, which will go out to everyone over the weekend, is the new placeholders. So if I go to settings to demonstrate this, I'm going to go to my document templates. I'm going to go to my test scheduler service as a document. So here we go. So at the moment, this template's empty. You can add it, get rid of that. So we've got a placeholder here of fee summary. We'll get rid of that. Get rid of the text bit. Just dragging it out now, aren't I? Dragging it out. But from now on, from this weekend onwards, ladies and gentlemen, you are now going to be having all the usual placeholders that we've always had. You've now got tax placeholders. So if you want to put into an email that goes out to your client saying, don't forget to pay HMRC, here the bank details and your reference is X, aka your UTR number, you can now put that in. You can also put in the national insurance number. You could also put in the PAYE reference, the corporation tax, the company's house number, the unique taxpayer reference for personal individuals, and the VAT registration numbers. So that's all there now. So that's pulling through from the tax reference detail page. So if I go back to a client quickly for you. So that's pulling all the information through from these boxes here. So it's looking at your company's registration number, your corporation tax, your VAT registration number, your PAYE details, etc. So that's pulling all of that through from there for you. And then on top of that, Peter has once again surpassed himself I go back to my template. On top of all of that, he's then put in a placeholder for every single custom field, and he's built a bit of code. So every time you guys create your own custom fields, it will create a placeholder for you. So we've got all of our additional information here. You've got your key pricing factors, your bookkeeping, and this is all laid out exactly as the placeholders are for, your custom fields are in the list. So you've got absolutely tons here, and you can keep adding as many as you like. So no limits on this whatsoever, which means, as Paul has said, he now needs to go, as does everyone, and update your templates to make them even more powerful with even more placeholders. So I've already been through mine tonight to update and test it all, and it's all working very nicely. Kath says this is cool. It is. Someone said they love it, which is great news. Rachel has said, great, love the new placeholders, development going at a pace. It truly is. So Andy is asking, you see, Andy, you're just never happy. Period end placeholders are not there yet. Peter has got some ideas of how we're going to be able to work with those. He's just got to build the code. So, yeah, as always, the leader is expecting one more thing. But yeah, so period end placeholders are coming, along with the ability to put placeholders in the subject title of emails, because they web browsers and email browsers are really picky about what you can put in and what functionality you have in emails subject lines, which is very odd. But we're building a solution for that, so that will be coming in the near future. Thanks, Kath Vincent, for the StreamYard link. You'd think I'd know it after all the FB stuff. So yeah, okay. So that's all your placeholders now. So as I say, every time you create a new custom field, that creates a placeholder. And I'll show you a few more of these and how powerful it can get in a moment. So yeah, that's all of our updates. So to summarize, we have got widgets are now clickable by the title to show you all the information in the widget instead of just which period is coming up. Kanban now demonstrates the relationship between an individual and a business and a business and a business. We've now got arrows to highlight which parts of the checklist have yet to be completed. Client info page completely remodeled. The name for the letter of engagement is now editable per document every time you send it through the regenerating tool, and all the new placeholders. So Peter has been a very busy man. But yeah, so that's all our updates. If anyone's got any questions on updates, please feel free to stick them into the comments. I will then answer them as I go. But for now, I want to talk about onboarding. So onboarding isn't something that we have created a standard task for, because it's such a personal experience, firm by firm, to onboard a client, and everyone does it somewhat differently. Up until this week, for example, Andy did it on paper, and it took months. But he's now got it all going onboarding on his client engager. I've spent some time with him showing him what I do, and that's done some inspirations. So he's now cracking on with that. So we thought it would be a really good time to be able to show you what I do in my firm and how you can build it out in Client Engager. Not to tell you how to do it, just to hopefully inspire you on things that you could do in your firm. So you assume the update over Friday evening into live Saturday? I believe so, yes. I have yet to have that confirmed by Peter, but I believe this update will go live to the public and over Friday night into Saturday. That's normally when Peter likes to do his updates. And yes, Rachel, on paper, it's Client Engager has modernized things for Andy. So yeah, so let's have a look at how I do onboarding in my firm. So I'm just going to skip out of the demo account and just go into mine for this, just to make it easier, so I didn't have to duplicate all my efforts. So at the moment, what I've got is a onboarding service for a company and an onboarding service for an individual and partnership. We don't really do charities and trusts or anything, so I don't need to worry about those at the moment. And the way I do my onboarding is I do it a checklist by days. And the reason I've done this is I used to have a long list of phases, and my team got extremely carried away, thinking they were being efficient, and basically went and ticked off as many phases and stuff as they could all in one go. And the clients got bombarded with emails on day one, which wasn't quite the right impression we wanted to set on day one. So I've now been a bit more militant and set out, no, this is all you're going to do on day one. This is what you're going to do on day two, etc. So what you can see here is I've got day one checklist, day two checklist. As part of the day two checklist, we send when we complete a day two checklist, an email goes out, which is a status update email in effect. And the template has a link to complete a Google form for collecting client information and onboarding. At that point, we are then sat pending the client information form. And then once that's received, we complete the phase, and that emails the client saying, thanks for completing that form. We've got the information, we're moving forwards. We then do day three's checklist. Then we do as part of day three's checklist, we send a professional letter of clearance if required. And then we email the client to say, we've sent the professional clearance, we're waiting on your accountant or bookkeeper to come back to us. Otherwise, we can't do anything more. So we're waiting on this. And after a while, we encourage the client to chase their accountant and bookkeeper if they're being a bit slow. Once we receive the professional letter of clearance, we complete this phase, which then updates the client that we've had the professional clearance, and we will be continuing with our onboarding. And then we have a day 4 and a day 5 checklist. So outside of client information being sent to us and outside of waiting professional clearance, we can normally do our onboarding in about 5 days. And we just have to wait for responses from other people, obviously. So first of all, what I'll do is I'll take you in here and I'll show you what we're doing. So as you can see, day 1 checklist, blah, 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 day 2 checklist. So this is the client onboarding form that will go out. So I abbreviate, basically, I put an initials against every single email template, which tells me what that type of email that is. So SU is a status update, AE is an automatic email. So status update, client onboarding form sent, status update, client onboarding form received, status update, professional clearance sent, status update, professional clearance received. We then complete day 4, at which point the system will email out what we call our welcome benefits. So we've set it up so that we can refer any of our clients to one of our other clients who does wills and trusts. So every one of our clients gets a free will as benefit of being one of our clients. And we've got another deal with a mortgage provider broker who will do a fee-free mortgage for any of our clients. And the benefit is twofold with that one, in that our clients get a really good mortgage broker that understands self-employed people and directors. Not all of them do. And we get a mortgage broker working with our clients that knows what we need to provide them really easily. They get it to us, they can answer the questions themselves, and it takes very little time from us to help the clients with that. Then we do a day 5 checklist, and at the end of that, they get an email saying, welcome on board, your onboarding is complete. So let's go and have a look at the checklists and go from there. So in our checklists, ignore sales inquiry. That's me playing with an idea for future release in Client Engager. So we'll go to the onboarding service. For anyone that gets a bit twitchy that they've got a few different versions of an onboarding thing, or I've evolved my process slightly more. As you can see, I am on stage 19 since I've started this service, and I've got another phase already in mind with some more tweaks. So always be prepared to evolve your process. Okay, so day 1, what do we do? On day 1, my team will create a QuickBooks license if required. Zero or free agent are other options, but we prefer QuickBooks. We also go in and create the first invoice on QuickBooks, and we set it to repeat, and we set it for 7 days from their session when they first signed with us. Just because we don't want the invoice turning up on day one, we think that's a bit money grabbing almost. So we go, right, we'll send the invoice 7 days after they've been with us. They've bedded in by then. We then create and connect the DEX license to QuickBooks. We then link them to Sift Analytics, our reporting tool. We send the Zama onboarding link. We enter the frequency and deadline dates for all services. And we request company authorization codes from Inform Direct. The reason we do this is because 9 out of 10 times clients don't know what their authorization code is. Sometimes the accountants have got the wrong ones, what we get professional clearance from. So we know if we trigger a request from Inform Direct to go out to the client straight away, it'll be there in a few days, which will help us later on in the onboarding process. Because the authorization code never changes, it's not an issue to request it even if you don't need it. So really helpful. Day 2, we do a source of funds report link. So this is part of our AML process. We use Zama's Analytics source of funds report. I think it's £15 a report we pay for this, but it basically looks back at 2 years worth of bank data, and it pulls out all the cash transactions, all the money going in and out, that's of large numbers and quantity values. So instantly looking at this report, I can tell if there's any loans they've not told us about. I can tell if there's a load of cash transactions that I'm not comfortable with. So, why is a builder always accepting cash payments? What's he not telling us? Or why is e-commerce always got cash? Maybe they shouldn't have, but actually the local chippy, I expect a weekly deposit of cash. So that helps us understand the financials of our client through AML checks. In day 3, we then send the Go Cardless link out so the clients can sign up to our invoicing. We add company details for the client form. So at the end of day 2, they get the email from the client saying, the client gets an email from us saying, can you fill out this questionnaire link? We then get that back, at which point we carry on with the next day's worth of tasks, which include taking the information from the company details from the contact form and putting it into Client Engager. Same principle for the contact details. By this point, we might have the authorization code for the company, so we can make sure we put them onto Inform Direct with that. So by this point, we've got all the client's info, and we've also got the previous accountant's information for our feedback for our contact form. So we use that to then request our professional clearance. We then wait for professional clearance, at which point, once we've got it, we complete our AML process, which is a separate task that we have that reoccurs every 3, 6, or 12 months, depending on the AML risk level. At the end of day 4, they'll also get that welcome email that we spoke about, that benefits email. And then on day 5, we save the accountant's folders and documents into Client Engager. We update information in Client Engager based on the accountant's professional clearance, so PAYE codes and stuff. At which point, we also work out if we need to request any agent authorizations from HMRC, and we send an email to the client introducing their new client manager, who is the person that will continue a relationship going forwards. We then press complete, and we close day 5's work. That sends that email that says you're onboarded, everything's fine. Please keep an eye out for authorization codes in the post, but we're going to get moving with our services with you now. So that's our onboarding process for companies, which is pretty similar for the individuals as well. There's not really much difference here. If anyone's got any questions on that process, then feel free to ask away in the comments. But we just thought it might be useful to show how we've used Client Engager to power our onboarding and to make it a trackable thing that's on the deadlines. One of the other benefits of having it this way is also the fact that I can see, I have to be careful to make sure I'm in the right account. But it's really nice if I go to onboarding. So Andy's got all these different ones on here, which he's putting into the demo account for testing and stuff. But you could see using the fake information we've got here that what the progress is on the checklist. So you almost see quite how far they are. So that's really helpful. So let's have a quick look. So Taylor would like to know, once the checklist is completed, can you review it afterwards? Yes, you can. So if you go into your client and you scroll down, any checklists are going to be available here. So even once they're completed, they'll be here. So you can see the checklists, audit trail for the service, etc. Let's see if I can find an example where this. So this one's completed here. So this has been done, and I can click on that, and I can either edit it. There was no activity, or I can export it if I wanted to. Let's see if I can find another one. Yeah, so here's a great example. So VAT, you can see the checklist has been done. They've all been marked with no needs fee review, no. So I can click on that. There's no activity. Terrible example, that one. No activity again. Have we done any activity on any of these? No, it doesn't look like it. But yeah, you can edit and you can export the PDF if you want to as well. So brilliant. You're more than welcome, Taylor. And I'm going to guess that that's Andy saying, I told you it's not clear where the checklists are saved. Yes, Andy, point made. But yeah, so that's where you can find checklists and the audit history of jobs as well, for any services that you've got turned on. This isn't quite the final finished piece yet. So where it says current phase, work in progress, these phases will show what phase each job's in. We found a bug in it this evening, so Peter's just put a temporary fix in which just says work in progress. But by the time it comes out to you guys, it will be showing which phase they're in. We're also going to do some work with the aesthetics, like getting all the texts in the same sizes, bolding the headlines and stuff. But Peter was really keen to get this out and show you it all for what it's going to look like as of this weekend. So Paul would like to know any teasers on how forms will be integrated with checklists and services. I can tell you what I believe is happening. I can't show you anything because there's absolutely nothing to do with forms in this demo account at the moment. Peter won't put anything into the demo account until it's close to finish or ready to go, basically. But basically, my understanding is that a bit like a service update, you're going to have the option to apply certain forms and templated forms to services. So you'll go into settings, you'll go into your services, and you'll say to do this job, you need a form completed in the same way that you select a template for an email, for example. You'll also be able to create forms and push them straight into the portal without it being related to a job necessarily. So you could probably do things like feedback forms and stuff like that to collect information in which potentially aren't related to services that you're delivering. So at the moment, I wouldn't like to speculate any more than that on what Peter's performing magic-wise in the behind the scenes for forms, because I haven't seen anything whatsoever yet. So it's Rachel, when are forms likely to be with us? By the end of this month. So what are we on? The 12th today? Yeah, so in about 2 weeks' time, I wouldn't be surprised if we see forms. I'm hoping to get a first look at them, not the end of next week, the start of the following week. So yeah, I think everyone's excited by forms, Rachel, as everyone is excited by placeholders as well. But yeah, so forms is the next big build, but Peter likes to have some breaks in between during big builds where he rules out of some of the easier options. So yeah, Taylor has asked, does forms mean we don't need to use Google Forms to collect client data, etc.? Yes, it does. So Google Forms and Microsoft Forms as well, someone says. Basically, any forms that you're using, whether it's Google Forms, Microsoft Forms, or any other form generator, in theory, you're going to be able to scrap it, because what you could do is create such a thing as like an onboarding form. So part of the onboarding process, I send out a client request form full of information I need from them. So they put in their addresses, UTR numbers, full addresses, dates of births, etc. I then sit there, as I'm sure you will do, and manually enter that into Client Engager merrily away. The theory is the client's going to be able to fill out the form in the client portal, putting in all their dates, their UTR numbers, their addresses, etc. And what that will then do is, because Client Engager knows what fields those form fields relate to, that will then automatically populate in the information into your client records. So if your clients put a UTR number in their form, the UTR number will automatically come into here. If the clients put a UTR number in their form and we've already got one, but the UTR number is different, Client Engager, a bit like Companies House notifications, will pop up and say, you've got an update. Would you like to approve it? So the idea is it's going to reduce the administration at every stage of every phase that you use a form. So some use cases at the moment are onboarding forms, client feedback forms, tax questionnaires, stuff like that. So yeah, and then the forms will be saved as PDFs in your files, so that you've got them for reference. And if they, as I say, if any of the fields relate to fields in here or in the client info anywhere, then it will automatically update that. And we will be doing the same kind of things for custom fields as well. So let's go have a look. So yeah, Paul uses Jotform. Somebody loves the idea of the forms. Lorna uses Jotforms. This is exciting. I know. It is. The forms are going to be incredible. Sounds amazing. Yeah. Would love it if forms integrated with Crezco to collect payments. You've already got the integration between Client Engager and Crezco, Paul. So break down for me what you want from the forms to collecting payments, and I'll have a look at it for you. Lorna, will you set up template forms, or will we need to create our own? We're going to give you some templates, but as with everything in Client Engager, it is only limited by your imagination in the most part. So yeah, you'll be able to create your own forms, but we will put some initial forms in there, a bit like we did with the automatic emails. We created a few templates to give some inspiration. And whatever we put in there will be completely editable as well, Lorna. So yeah. And Paul says, currently Jotform has a Square integration. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not sure of the use case for it, Paul, but if you want to detail how you're using that, and if we think that's of value, we'll be able to look at something. I mean, Crezco do give you a link that's not got a number, like a value on it. So it's like a blank thing where the client can just click on the link and enter the amount they need to pay you in it, and send it that way. So that could be something, you just put that link on the form. But yeah, we shall see. Any other questions or anything? Obviously, all these updates are coming out this weekend, so that will keep everyone busy. On Friday, I am going to close the poll for the roadmap prioritization for September, October, and November. We're going to have a very busy period. And then once we've done that, we will release the new roadmap in the priority order for September, October, November. So Paul says, we use it to sign up for sign up forms for onboarding, collecting the nominal fee to stop time wasters. Okay. I mean, the solution there at the moment would be to send an invoice from Client Engager and send a Crezco link, which has got the right amount set on it. just thinking what we can and can't do with the Crezco API. But I'll have a look at that, Paul, and I'll get back to you on it. Rachel, you price payroll on a cost per payslip basis. So if I want to quote a client £12.50 an employee a month, and they currently have 4 employees, I don't want to just show £50. I want to say the cost per payslip, because if they would take on 2 more employees, I don't want to rewrite the LOE. Is this possible? Cool. So what you would do there, what I would do, Rachel, and what I have done is in my, let me think. So if I go to settings, services, nope, templates, I go to my letter of engagement limited company. So we've got all of our rules here. So we've got our services here, scope of services, and we've got fees. And what I would normally do in my firm is I put here, insert key, factors, pricing factors. There we go. I put pricing factors here as a placeholder. So I would go, our fees and charge are in accordance with our attached standards terms of services. Please review these to ensure you understand the basis of our charges and terms. And I put, we have priced our services based on following factors. Okay, and now I've got pricing factors, so I'll save that. Let's go to a limited company to show you what that does, and then I'll show you how to involve the information into that placeholder. So if we go to our letters of engagement, I'm going to regenerate this one. Blah, 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 blah. So we've got our services here. Fees. Our fee. So I need to tidy up the formatting slightly, but our fees will be charged in accordance, blah, blah, blah. Please review. We've used priced our services on the following information. And what I've done here is I've involved key pricing factors that I want to show the client in my letter of engagement, because these are the defining points. So I've said our price is based on your annual revenue up to £60,000. It's also based on the assumption you're using QuickBooks, because if you're using Xero or Sage, I'm going to charge you more money. I'm just going to get this off the screen so people can see what I've done. So we've got all this information here that we're saying these are the principles we're basing your fees on. What we've said is your payroll frequency is monthly, but actually we want to add more to that. We want to say how many people are on here. So what I'll do is I need to change one of the settings on that bit of information. So I'll go to my settings, and I'm going to go to my custom form fields, and I'm going to go to payroll. So I've got payroll frequency. And as you can see, it says include in pricing factors placeholder, and it's got a mark of yes. But the current number of employees has gotten a mark of no. So if I go into there, I'm going to say I want that to include in the pricing factors and save. If I then go to my client, I'll check that I've put some information into the payroll. He says when he finds payroll, different order to what I have it in. So I'm going to go, right, we've got 12 employees. We do it monthly. So I'm going to save that. I'll then go to my letters of engagement, regenerate this. And I've now said, right, my payroll pensions information, we're basing this on the number of employees of 12. So that would then solve your question there, Rachel, hopefully. Someone's saying great updates. Thank you, Johan. No, thank you to everyone that's giving us the feedback and the ideas of how they want the product to be formed. We really appreciate it. Andy and I would run out of ideas eventually. So without you guys inspiring us, we wouldn't get much further. Kath says it's all very impressive. It is rather. Helen says, I put the variant in my service schedule. Yep. So yeah, you could put that information into the service schedule if you didn't want it in the letter of engagement. The The reason I put it in my letter of engagement is because it's quite clear and obvious, and it's not like I'm trying to hide it in the terms and conditions. So not everyone reads the schedule of services. Shock horror, I know, but they don't. So that's why I always put it at the forefront before the pricing. So people go, right, your pricing is based on this information and this is the price. That makes sense. But you can put these pricing factors anywhere you like. But remember, this whole block is pricing factors. So you can't have pricing factors for payroll in one document, pricing factors for something else in another document. So you'd have to manually edit your schedule of services, whereas this is a bit more automated and more efficient if you want to do it this way. Rachel, that's a cheap payroll. It is, Rachel, but yeah, just dummy data. That'd be why. And that is great. You're more than welcome. I've added a QBO pricing table in my service schedule of services so clients can compare the versions. That's a really good idea, Paul. Yeah. So, yeah, cool. Okay, folks, we are 50 minutes in. Have we got any questions, any thoughts, any little niggling questions that you would love to do something, or how would I do this based on what you've shown me already today? Anything like that? If not, can users only access certain clients? No, they can't, Kath. All users have access to all clients at the moment. We know this is a feature that is being requested by quite a lot of people at the moment, but it is quite a big project. So it's going to go onto the list of things to be voted on because this is a couple of weeks worth of coding work. So it needs to be voted on by the community as what the priority is for it. Because you'd think it's just a couple of switches, but the ones that always sound the easiest are always the most hard work, is what I've learned from coding so far. How would you send a quote for or proposal for a one-off job, please? Okay, great question. So what I would do is I would, if we use this client as an example, services and pricing, I'm going to turn off all the services. In fact, I'll keep the accounts on. And that can be my example. God, they're all turned on. Right, any more for any more. Good. Okay, so first of all, I would turn around and say, right, well, they're only paying, this is a fee. They're not paying me monthly. They're actually going to pay me once, which is technically annually. So I'll put that over there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to service detail and I'm going to tick it that is a one-off job. So I've already done that here. And then I'm going to press save. And then I'm going to go to my letters of engagement. I'll regenerate this and show you what that does. Okay, so I've still got my pricing factors and it's a one-off cost and that's there. If I wanted to break this down, so at the moment I've got fee summary, but I can change that if I wanted to fees, I think. I think fees is the right word. This has worked if I've remembered this correctly. No. Okay. No. I can't remember what the placeholder is, and I'm missing a placeholder button. I must remember to tell Peter there's a placeholder button missing. I keep spotting it and keep forgetting. Right, so we'll generate that. But yeah, so if you go in to the services, go into your service detail once you've turned the service on, mark it as a one-off job, save it, go to your letter of engagement, generate it, and it will tell them this is a one-off cost. So hopefully that helps. Cheryl, could a PDF of our invoice be sent with the email that says payment has been collected, rather than having the click and then download it, so it can be sent straight to auto entry? Yes, it can, Cheryl, but it's about a week's worth of coding. So it will delay all of our feature rollout for roadmaps by about a week or two. So we've got time planned between September and November for that. So what Cheryl was asking about here is the subscription invoice that we issue. So we have got plans to improve that. So you'll get this invoice attached, so you can just forward it on into auto entry or Dex or whatever you're using. But at the moment, we've not scheduled that time in with this current build project. Can we have a placeholder menu in the editable version so you don't have to remember the placeholder? Yes, Andy, we need one. I think it's just missed in the coding. I think it used to be there and it's disappeared. So we'll need to get that sorted. I will make a note, actually, because I've spotted it a couple of times and done nothing about it because I forget. It's normally in a demo, I spot it and then I forget. Brilliant. Note taken. Okay. Love it. Good, good. Challenge for you. Okay, Paul. I had an existing client meeting today that's considering going limited for 3 of their businesses, 1 sole trader, 1 partnership, and 1 property. How would you recommend doing the onboarding and LEO for that? So technically, you should be issuing a letter of engagement to each limited company because it's a legal entity. Each one is an individual legal entity. So each legal entity needs to agree to your services. I would then turn on the onboarding task for each limited company, because ultimately, although it's the same individuals that you're dealing with, you do need to do an AML risk assessment for each limited company. You need to do UTR numbers, agent authorizations for each limited company. So yeah, I would simply issue a letter of engagement for each limited company because each one needs to legally agree to the document, even though it's the same person representing all 3. If you had an issue with one of them and took them to court, they wouldn't stand by what you're saying necessarily because you've not got a definitive signed letter of engagement with that legal entity. So yeah, I would send 1 letter of engagement per legal entity and then have an onboarding task for each legal entity, because that way you won't miss anything. That would be my thoughts. Love it. Thank you. Rachel says, no need for the placeholder menu. It'll help stave off dementia by having to remember them all. Yeah, the problem is remembering them was one thing. It's the capital letters that throw me. And now in the custom fields, there's also dashes and stuff starting to come in. They're getting more complex. I will get the menu added before this release on Friday. I'm sure it will not be a big job. It's just a slight oversight. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, cool. Okay. If there's no other questions or anything, then I will bring this session to an end. Thank you everyone for joining. I keep checking the numbers and we're 20 plus people at all times for the last hour, which is incredible. And the fact that you've all got your questions and stuff is fantastic. It really helps make these sessions more worthwhile, and it tells me that they're needed and wanted, which is great. So I'm always happy to sacrifice my Wednesday evening for these things. However, next week I will have to update you closer to the time, because next week I will be in Liverpool. Andy and I are having some time in his office going through everything for Client Engager and planning some ideas and stuff like that. So we're having a proper day in the office, mind mapping and stuff next week, followed by a day at the Golf Open. So yeah, I will update you as to whether there'll be a live session next Wednesday or not. Otherwise, we might give it a break for the week and come back the week after. Brilliant. And if there's any, I'll just go through all of this. Thank you. Great insights. Thank you, Johan. Very interesting. Thank you. Made it much easier for me to get started. You're more than welcome. Thank you. I'm excused. That's very good of you, Kath. I'll make sure the rest of the community agree with that. Thank you very much, Lorna. Thank you from Sue. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Right, well, hopefully that was a fantastic first live for you. I will leave you all to enjoy your Wednesday evenings, and I will catch up with you for the next updates when they are coming. Oh, good question, Rachel. I will tag this one on. Zero integration is still being built and looked at. I've not got a date yet, but I will let people know when it's going to be released, so you guys can stay up all night and wait for the release, so you can be the first to sign up to it. For anyone that didn't see my post last week, we do have some limiting factors with Zero in the fact that it will only let us have 25 of you using the API until they certify us. But we are throwing some weight around to see if we can get that expedited. So yeah, thank you very much, Rachel. Brilliant. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you, Heather. And I will see you all again soon. And I will sure be answering your questions on the poll very, very soon. On the Facebook community page, even very soon. Thank you very much.